I feel like every time we have a new episode, there's a new update on Joel Embiid. So there's a report from Shams that came out yesterday. 76ers and Joel Embiid are consulting doctors and considering alternative options on his injured knee. Sources tell ESPN sides have hope for progress in Embiid's body, but his efforts to play and current treatments, including injections, have not provided any improvement. Another report, according to Philly Inquirer's Marcus Hayes, the famous Marcus Hayes, who Embiid got into a little altercation with him in the beginning of the year, says Embiid may have to look to some experimental procedures to try and correct what's going on. Quote, meniscus replacement, a low-dose radiation therapy, or even the ominous-sounding osteotomy, in which doctors break a bone in the hip to realign the joint to alleviate pressure. One source called the procedures radical in light of the mundane injury and surgery that brought Embiid to this point. For some reason, what should have been a routine rehab and a routine return to play has gone horribly wrong, end quote. Nick Nurse said before the game yesterday that Embiid is going through imaging and still being evaluated, but they have not even discussed shutting him down at all yet. So obviously, recent developments. What do you guys think about what is going on with the whole Joel Embiid updates as of right now?
Man. Well, I'll take it back from the beginning of the season when we first started going through this, and training camp, and then the first week when he was going to be reevaluated, then they pushed that back, and then when he came back, he didn't look the same. Okay, so we know that this is an issue that's been going on since before the season started, right? The question we don't know is, was this something that happened during the postseason, getting ready for the Olympics, during the Olympics, or after the Olympics? Is this something additional happened? Or is this still the same remnants from the procedure that we had a year ago? So, that being said, I do not. I feel bad for Joel, but I told you guys what it sounded like, what it looked like a long time ago when I was like his swelling, and it keeps coming back, and like all of the signs that he had, I'm telling him like, I have that. I know what that looks like. But I think the team, or maybe Joel and his camp, whoever, did a disservice by not just coming out and, hey, this is what it is, man. This is what it is. And I understand maybe you don't want to do that at the beginning of the year, but by December, you got to know this isn't right. So he's basically gone, November, December, January, almost 4 months of prolonging this. Just prolonging it to be in the same spot.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I don't know what he needs or what he should do, because we don't have all the information, and that's been the issue from the beginning. We don't really know what the deal is. We don't really know what the injury is. I know it was a meniscus before, but we don't really know. But I can tell you what it sounds like to me is that his meniscus is gone or shaved down where he's bone on bone. That's what I've told you guys. It sounds like what I have. And I just think, and that's the one thing about your meniscus being shaved down and being bone on bone, everybody's body doesn't respond the same when that happens. The way my legs are, like I told you, I've said it like many times, the way my legs are bowed, the interior injury of my knee, it was a bad injury for me. It could be a bad injury for Joel. I'm not sure and I'm not sure how they're going to fix it, because you could do some things that'll fix it for right now. It'll be worse later in life. You can fix it right now it'll be harder to play basketball, but it's better for the rest of your life. So I don't know. I mean, I don't know enough about the modern technology that people would use. I've done some research and read more about some stuff that people would do. But after having 3 surgeries, I'm a firm believer that no matter what he gets done, I don't see how any surgery can ever make it. Can make it better, but I don't know how it can ever make you where you were before. In my experience, it hasn't happened. So I know some people have had surgeries and bounced back, but it kind of depends. Sometimes when people break a bone, like Paul had a really, really bad injury with that Olympic team.
Yeah.
Came back strong.
Yep.
Bones heal differently than ligaments and tendons. So, and I just think Joel's older. He's not a small guy. And I don't have confidence. I'll say this. I don't have confidence that something can be done to make it better for him going forward. I think he'll be dealing with something moving forward. Hopefully he can get it done and to get taken care of. But I don't have the confidence that can happen because nothing in my experience says that.
Yeah, it just sounds like patchwork after patchwork, and he never really got, because of the Olympics, he never really got, I think, the time he needed to just do a full rest.
Yeah, I don't even think it's about a rest thing. That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't think it was really about a rest because he had
the doctor's telling me they think it was because they.
But what I'm saying is, so it wouldn't be the Olympics then. It would be him coming back in the playoffs. His procedure was in February.
Yeah, he looked pretty decent in the playoffs.
So what I'm saying is that would be more of the issue than the Olympics.
Yeah. Which, like we said earlier in the season,
that's what I'm saying. But we saying he looked good, but there was still people that saying that he shouldn't have played.
Yeah, I know.
You know what I'm saying? Like that was a really big issue.
Totally, but I've seen him since, and he looked better than he looks now. So it's like crazy, right?
Yeah, I mean, but that's the thing about it. It was like when you first get it done, and then all of a sudden that tendon is kind of shaved down and worn down. It doesn't get better with time. Sometimes it gets worse with time.
Yeah. So I mean, some of these sound radical, and I don't know enough about that, but whatever the next move is, I mean, it's pivotal because you're dealing with aging stars. And if they try to go conservative from here on out and say, let's give them a proper rest till next season, if that doesn't work, then you start from scratch all over again. Then you have to do that crazy surgery, and then you sit him for a whole year. Yeah. So I don't know what the answer is. They're going to have to talk to more doctors now, see what's going to happen, because if you do one of those now, he'll be back by sometime next season. If you try to wait on it thinking that maybe a full-time rest can do him some good for a long extended period of time, but then you put off the real timetable in case it doesn't work.
Well, the sounds of the meniscus replacement, which is what Lonzo Ball had, that was an 18th month recovery. We wouldn't see him next year.
He came back in a year, right?
18 months, I believe.
He came back in 18 months?
It was 18 months. Because remember, they said he wasn't going to come back ever again. And then remember Stephen A. Smith said he heard that he was retiring. And then Lonzo was like, what are you talking about? And then he came back like 5 months after that. So that, I mean, we're looking at potential of a year, potential of 18 months. I mean, these are all different types of surgeries and experimental, right? Eric, we were talking beforehand before we came on. Had you ever heard of any of these before? The hip one, the osteo something, meniscus replacement, nothing. Yeah.
No. All they talk to me about, everybody talk to me now about a knee replacement. They don't even give me these other options. I had one doctor that did Darius surgery, from Colorado. He's actually did Tom Brady surgeries too. He was the only one that was like, hey, there's some different things that we can do if you want to do it. I'm just not. I don't want to go through that right now. But yeah, he gave me some alternatives to do, so I could find out sort of what that is. And he did a great job with Darius' injury. And Darius had a lot of, like 3 different ligaments that were torn and a meniscus, or 2 different. Let me see. Yeah, 3. He tore all the MCL, PCL, LCL, and the meniscus. He tore everything except for the ACL.
Damn.
And they told him first 3 doctors told him his career was probably over. He went out to him and he told him, he was like, hey, it's, I can get you back on the field. Like, it's going to be a process. So it took, that was the first game of the year. So he missed the rest of that year. And then the next year, he probably played 4 games, but he was never really the same. So last year. So he basically missed 18 months. Well, people seem like that's a lot, but when you think about what you had done, it's really not a lot.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
When you think months, you think it's really like a year and a half. Like it's So
yeah. Ball had a meniscus transplant, cartilage transplant, and a bone allograft, which replaced bone from a bone donor from another person.
Who had that?
Ball. Lonzo.
He had what was it called again?
He had a meniscus transplant, cartilage transplant, and a bone allograft, which is replacement bone from another person.
I know from my ankle, they took bone from my knee and put it in my ankle. Now, I didn't know it. I mean, they decided that during surgery. So they just I woke up and I had like a scarring on my, right bottom of my knee. And they was like, what is that? They was like, well, we cut you open and took part of your bone, shaved off part of your bone and put it in your ankle.
Wow. Jeez.
Thing is, though, Ball's pretty young. Ball's like 5 years younger than Joel.
Yeah.
That's the problem. So if Joel sacrifices 18 months right now.
But he's also smaller.
Yes, that's also true. Yeah.
I mean, but also, look, that's where expectations come in, too. He's not expected to be an MVP candidate.
He also hasn't played over 30 minutes in a game this season.
He probably is not going to. Like, that's probably strategic. So I'm just saying, but what I'm saying is the expectations are different, so you can take it slower.
Yeah.
But, we take it slower with Joel. They're like, well, what are we doing? We're supposed to win the championship. We can't win a championship like this.
Yep.
Yeah. I will say pretty sickening from some of these fan bases out there. I saw the Knicks fans kind of dancing on Joel Embiid's grave. A lot of fan bases really laughing at this. And it's like, it's competition's competition, but rooting for someone, for this career to be over is really sad and pretty sickening. That's Twitter for you.
Pay attention to that. Like, you can find negativity all over the place.
Yeah, I've had that argument with other fans. Yeah. Friends of mine who are fans of the Knicks. Yeah. We went back and forth, saying how dirty he is. I was like, dude, no one's broken their face more than Joel. Okay, so I don't want to hear about injuries he causes to other people. Okay.
Yeah. So Nick Nurse did say that he's not shut down at all. When do you guys think that announcement will be made? And do you think we'll see him again on the court this year? I love what we're talking about.
I think he'll come back and try to play.
You think so?
I think he will. I think he'll try to come back and play, especially if we keep losing. I think he'll try to come back and at least.
Regardless if we have a shot at 10 seed anymore.
Mm-hmm. I think he tries to come back because I think he tries to come back before he decides to do something or whatever he's going to do.
Okay.
I'll be very surprised. Like if he, because if you're not going to play anymore, what are we waiting for? Just go get it done.
Yeah, I know. That's kind of what. Yeah, exactly. But get what
so
done? They don't even know what they're getting
the longer
done.
he waits, the more the chance that he'll probably try to play a game or two. But I could be very wrong because, like you said, if we lose 2 or 3 more, and which seems likely this week, with the teams we play, yeah, you might as well shut them down.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully, whatever happens from here on out, hopefully he gets what needs to be done, and we get to see Joel back on the court again and looking like his old self.